Hello from the Hack Shack right here in Los Angeles. My name's Johnny. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming by and watching this video, and I hope you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content if you haven't already. Today I'm going to be taking you through Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell, his follow-up to The Devil's Rejects that came out in 2005. This movie was highly anticipated from Rob Zombie fans like myself, so I was really excited to go see it on opening night. Now, did Zombie live up to all the expectations from us fans? Let's take a trip to hell and find out. I want to preface this review by saying I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan. I like most of his movies. I even like some of his earlier music. What I appreciate about Rob Zombie is his dedication to eating, breathing, sleeping horror. I mean, he's a horror-phile. He's one of us. A couple years ago, to celebrate the release of 31, Rob Zombie gave an exclusive inside look at his horror memorabilia room to Shudder. It's a 3-minute video showcasing all of the props and masks that he's used in all of his movies. It just shows you how much pride he has for these creations and being able to make horror movies for the masses. Give it a watch after this review. It's really cool. I'll make sure to put a link to the video below in the description. Now, let's get into the plot of 3 from Hell. 3 from Hell picks up after the kick-ass ending of The Devil's Rejects, where Baby, Otis, and good old Captain Spaulding are going out in a hail of gunfire, charging at police in that 1972 dusty blue Cadillac convertible. We begin the film 10 years later with newscasts describing the story of The Devil's Rejects. All 3 are currently alive and incarcerated in a Texas correctional facility. Apparently they took like 20 bullets apiece, but they eventually were treated, healed, and then put on trial for the alleged murders they committed. I mean, we know they killed all these people, but the American justice system, you are innocent until proven guilty. America. Otis's half-brother, and yes, this is his name, Winslow Foxworth Foxy Coltrane, plans on breaking Otis out of prison as well as the others. Now, you'll have to go see 3 from Hell just to find out how this madness turns out, but regardless of what I say in the rest of the review, you should go see it. Okay, let's get into what I liked about 3 from Hell. As usual, I'm a big fan of Rob Zombie's filming style. The overall aesthetic of 3 from Hell is a lot like The Devil's Rejects, very gritty and grainy. Zombie uses a lot of tight shots in the face, the camera is usually handheld so it's a little bit shaky, and it just looks like something out of the 1970s. Now, House of a Thousand Corpses, the first film in this series, had a very different look. They used a lot of unnerving colors like red, green, neon blue, black light stuff just like popping out of the darkness. There's a couple type of sequences I've noticed Rob Zombie uses in his films. One is to build tension, the other is to showcase the sheer madness and brutality of his villains. For example, to help build tension, Zombie will often use an audio sample and loop it over and over and over again, all while using fast cuts, shaky camera movement, and using tight shots. It's a great combination for building tension. Check out this clip from House of a Thousand Corpses as an example.
Little dick quick, play with his brick. Don't the smell just make you sick?
Stop singing! I hate that song! Fucking mask back on! Fuck it!
The other sequence Zombie uses is the slow motion death scene, I like to call it. It's usually a scene in slow motion over a 60s or 70s somber type country song. In these sequences, our victims are toyed with by our villains, and the slow motion element of it all just brings out the madness and despair. We know what's going to happen to these people, but we're just gonna have to wait longer until they meet their demise. Another aspect I really liked about 3 from Hell, as well as all of Rob Zombie's movies, is the characters. It doesn't matter if it's a main, supporting, or some weirdo that has 3 lines in the movie, Rob Zombie makes sure you remember them. Otis Driftwood, played by Bill Moseley, is by far my favorite character, other than Captain Spaulding, played by Sid Haig. Otis is unapologetic, snarky, shows absolutely no mercy, and is the poster boy for pure evil. He's so quotable too. He always spouts off these crazy one-liners and phrases like,
"I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work."
But that line was from The Devil's Rejects, There are plenty of lines like this in 3 from Hell, but I just don't want to spoil them for you. As a whole, I appreciate the 3 from Hell villains' mentality of it's just them against the entire world. They don't want good to happen to anybody, and they're going to make sure to leave behind a path of pain and destruction or die trying. Now, let's get into some of my dislikes of 3 from Hell. My first dislike would have to be the story, and that's just really unfortunate because without a good story, it's just hard to keep you interested. There really wasn't a story, nothing linear. Our villains weren't trying to achieve any goals, so as cool as these villains are, it just made for a stale story. I wanted these 3 devils to have some sort of revenge plot, just anything to be honest. They just hung out for a lot of the film. They met some really weird people, and yes, a lot of the kill scenes were a lot of fun and really cool, but that just didn't do it for me. It didn't make up for the lackluster storyline. There's a showdown at the end of 3 from Hell that's badass. It's not as cool as the ending of The Devil's Rejects, but that's one of my favorites and really hard to beat. But leading up to this showdown, this ending, there wasn't much offense from our villains or our characters, which just kind of made for a boring storyline. And I hate saying that because I love Rob Zombie and I think he does really good work usually. Another dislike, again, I hate saying this, is the character of Baby. Rob Zombie's wife, played by Sheri Moon Zombie. Now, if you think she was a little wacky, crazy, over the top in House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, then strap yourself in because she goes full on batshit crazy in 3 from Hell. And unfortunately, in my opinion, it isn't exactly a good thing. At times, I loved her demented soul. She was one of the best at toying with her victims before she mangled them. But most of the time, it just felt so over the top, like she was trying to act crazy instead of just being crazy. And my final thoughts for 3 from Hell are this. As much as I love Rob Zombie as a filmmaker, this movie lacked narrative. I was hoping for a more eventful film like House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, but this film just didn't deliver as much as I wanted it to. However, we still get to see the sick and twisted minds and actions of some of our favorite Firefly characters since the debut of House of a Thousand Corpses in 2003. Unfortunately, we don't get to see a lot of Captain Spaulding in this movie, which would have been epic. As always though, keep supporting horror. See 3 from Hell when it comes out on Blu-ray and digital. Decide for yourself if you like it or not. Alright everyone, my time is up. I hope you liked my review of 3 from Hell. I'd love to hear what you thought about this video and the movie itself, so go ahead and comment in the comment section below, and I hope you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And let's be friends to the end, people. You know you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Horror Hack. I am Johnny the Horror Hack, and this has been one hack of a show.